And the Ministry of Finance is yet to release an amount of 3,850,000 cedis to contain the outbreak of avian influenza in the country since May, while members of parliament implore the ministry as a matter of urgency to release the funds before the situation worsens.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture requested over 13 million cedis to contain, eradicate and prevent further spread of the avian influenza outbreak. But the Committee on Food and Agriculture recommended it be pruned down to a little over 11 million cedis, considering a directive by the Chief of Staff. The committee members said they were informed the Chief of Staff had directed that an amount of 3,850,000 cedis be released by the Finance Ministry to control the outbreak of the avian influenza. But the Finance Ministry had since not heeded.
It's important that he takes personal attention to this recommendation because they've not had adequate support in terms of sustenance.
2 days ago, announcement is that you cannot move birds within Accra. Can we be serious? Who is implementing that directive? So if I'm in Kaneshi, I cannot move my bird to a center. They are moving them as we speak.
About 10 poultry farms have so far been affected within a month. 1,158 crates of eggs and 37 bags of feed have also been destroyed.
Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to the Executive Secretary of the Poultry Farmers Association, John Toto. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. So, do we know how many birds are at risk?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Right. Do we know how many birds are at risk?
No, well, there are no birds at risk.
And what is the concern of farmers, really?
We are concerned about the kind of announcement that was so misplaced and was put out there like that, yes.
What do you mean by misplaced announcement?
Yeah, the announcement was not actually a ban on the sale of poultry. It is more or less a biosecurity measure that the veterinary services in their active surveillance approach wanted to put in place. Because as I speak with you now, there are no new cases identified in the country, no. What we are doing is just trying to keep a surveillance, what we call the active surveillance, putting biosecurity in measures so that it will ensure that there won't be any more outbreaks. But the outbreak has been contained. The farms that have had, there are about 12 sites, 12 farms, they have been depopulated. That is, there are no birds with the avian influenza that is known. But since the thing is airborne, since the avian disease is airborne, just as catarrh and flu that human beings get, we are saying there is no need for us to be moving the birds from place to place. We are treating the farms, we are treating the markets as farms, and so we say, people go to the farms to buy your birds, go to the market, so that should there be any situation, we can know exactly the source. But for now, everything is under control. The Veterinary Services Directorate has contained the avian influenza, so there is no need for panic at all. Ghanaians can eat chicken, they can eat eggs, and they won't be at risk.
It's good you say. It's good you say this is just a security measure to contain any further spread of the avian influenza.
Yes,
but let me find out from you. Let me find out from you.
Normal practice that we do.
Right. I just wanted to know if government's inability to release funds, the Finance Ministry's inability to release funds in any way, is hampering your efforts.
Well, yes, before, but as of yesterday, the funds have been released. We've been informed that there is some amount that government has set aside to compensate farms that have been depopulated.
How much is that?
There have been about 12 sites.
How much is that? How much is that?
Already. And there is money now available to pay compensation according to the information reaching our office.
How much money is that?
I wouldn't hazard it, but I will direct you to the office of the Honorable Deputy Minister in charge of livestock because she has the figures. Some amount has been. In fact, she has instructed me to inform the farmers that yes, compensation will be paid So those who may have symptoms of unusual mortalities must feel free to announce, and when the farm is identified to have bird flu and the birds are depopulated, they will be compensated.
And as farmers, aren't you concerned about how soon these amounts will be hitting your accounts?
Well, it isn't something that we are too really expectant of, because if we do not get bird flu in our farms, we will not be compensated. But those who have the bird flu, yes, they should expect some information as soon as possible.
Right, so essentially the assurance, Albert, to the general public and especially to the Muslims who have just concluded their Eid festivities is that they can go out there on the market and purchase live birds and they can be assured of safety and security.
Very well, that's correct. In fact, the Ministry of Information through the Veterinary Services directly will shortly come out with a release to further explain what I have just told you, that there is no danger at all. There are no challenges to the veterinary services. The disease is under control, and what we are doing is just a biosecurity measure that we are putting in place. So we are saying they should go to the markets to buy their birds, they should go to the farms to buy their birds, and they should eat their eggs and everything, you know, just as we've been doing before. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We've got to leave it here. John Toto is Executive Secretary of the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana.